Yo, yo, yo.
Let me see if I hit it real quick.
1, 2, 1, 2.
And I think we're rocking and rolling in 1, 2, 3. Welcome to Wise Beyond Bitcoin, where you come to wise up on crypto. I'm Lucas.
And I'm Ryan.
And we're here with your your weekly update. But there's been some amazing monthly news when we talk about the gas fees for Ethereum and a lot of other stuff that's going on in crypto right now. So,
Right.
without further ado, you think we should start with a little market roundup? Because we got a lot
Yeah.
of awesome worldwide crypto economic news for all of you who are looking to beef up on your fundamental crypto market analysis and understanding and perspectives. Also, if you got some to share, drop us a message, jump in the
Yep.
chat, send us a line. But yeah, let's get through the market roundup. And
So it's a red moment in the markets, right? But that happens, you know. What jumps out at you? Well, Polygon, right? That's a performer, not necessarily in this moment, but in the last few weeks, the last month. What was the number in May? It closed at 120%.
let's go to the 1 day change.
Yeah, let's look at the 1 day.
Pirate Chain, Theta, Theta
Data
Fuel,
fuel.
and Theta Token. So
Yeah,
we'll talk about the difference between Theta Fuel and Theta Token, and also Pirate Chain and what's really pushing Pirate Chain. I thought we'd still see Polygon up at the top, but I guess it just recently got overtaken. But going
yeah,
going back to what you were saying about Polygon, Polygon's what 170. What was the growth this in the last month?
120% in May.
120% in
And that
May.
and that's in
Bam.
a month where Bitcoin and Ethereum and the broader market are trading down. So
So
that's all the more impressive.
And this kind of ties up with another article that we're going to get to later that you pulled up dealing with Ethereum, but it's the Ethereum gas fees right now.
Yeah.
Um, Look, what are some of the biggest growing cryptos in the last few months? It's been the competition, smart contract competition, because the gas fees for Ethereum have just been so high. To engage in DeFi on a lower level it's been impossible. Why would you try to send $100 if the gas fees 20 or 50, or sometimes the gas fees can be 100 or hundreds of dollars. So for
Yeah.
Visa and MasterCard, that might not be a big deal, or for people moving
Or for
large
whales.
sums for large whales. But
Yeah.
Ethereum kind of started to price out the regular crypto user in the market because of the fees. So seeing Polygon up 120% is well, that is
It's
part and
directly related.
parcel directly related
Yeah.
to the success that you're seeing with all these other smart contract cryptos like Binance Smart Chain, which we'll talk about later as well. But they've taken a lot of energy from the Ethereum chain and is offloaded and moved on over to Binance. Same with Harmony One and others. But what's Polygon done? Polygon has allowed Ethereum to stay competitive. So without having to leave the Ethereum chain and go to another chain, the Polygon Matic network is a second layer solution that allows for ultra fast transactions at extremely low cost, fractions of a penny, or absolutely fractions of the cost that it would take on the Ethereum network. So it's interesting to see this race between Matic and other chains that are also trying to take that steam from Ethereum.
Exactly.
You know,
And it's interesting to see what happens to those projects over the course of the next year. Just as ETH 2.0 rolls out, and we see how that affects gas prices. But what's the insider take? I think is one I share is that it doesn't matter how much more efficient ETH 2.0 is if you're expecting this network to grow and for the user base to grow exponentially. That's still going to push. It's still going to be pushing up on gas prices. So that's why I feel like long term these layer twos will still have value going forward.
absolutely. They're really, it's like lanes on the highway. Even if you have a freeway open up that's got 2 lanes instead of one, or 3 lanes, you're still going to use the other highway as long as it's opening up room for more traffic. And so a lot of these smart contracts with these second layers, they're they're helping take the pressure off, which I think, pardon me.
So, what service do you think Pirate Chain is serving to justify an 18% growth? I mean, it's not. We're not talking about saving gas here, right? We're talking about privacy, and that's the main story.
We are, and that's, you know, your intuition serves you well. Unfortunately, on Nomics, it's not showing what I saw on CoinGecko. That's another thing. There's Coin Market Cap, there's Nomics, there's CoinGecko, there's Coin Paprika. You know, feel free to look at different sites that pull together data and give you the latest, because some of them are more accurate, some of them are set to different timestamps, and it's just nice to get a picture from different chains. But
on Nomics, what Pirate Chain was almost 18%, but
Pirate Chain was almost 18% earlier. I just also saw Monero was up there with, but I guess there's so much action moving on right now. Theta Fuel and Theta Filecoins making a move, Filecoin. But going back to what you were saying about Pirate Chain, going back to that point, I was trying to hammer it home harder because I thought I could find Monero up there with it, but that is fastly moved off. So we'll just go back to the Pirate Chain and go with it. So for you, your story is, and I think I agree with you, but what do you think is causing this bump, this growth in interest in Pirate Chain?
One of the big narratives that's been driving, market sideways in the last few weeks, months, is all these stories about the Biden administration looking for ways to tax crypto transactions that 10,000 or greater. And you know how that is. Like, once the government passes something, it tends to not get lighter or less restrictive. As time goes on, it becomes more restrictive. So that 10,000 threshold probably will become less as in the future. But it's just a sign that there's going to be more regulation, more oversight, and more taxation going on. And so I think the more crypto gets legitimized, and the more you see it going mainstream, whether that's being adopted at Wall Street or by financial advisors, or if that's a nation state making it legal tender. There's a lot of different examples of how it's going mainstream. But the more as that happens, I think people are going to look to see that they want to mitigate the risk of having their money either frozen or tracked or regulated. However, some third party that doesn't have a stake in the transaction, doesn't have a claim, but still has their eye on that. And I think people are wising up to that's the big future risk. That's the risk on the horizon is these third party nation states that feel like they want a part of your coin. And so yeah, Pirate Chain, Monero, and Blank. There's a numerous, right? And if anybody knows of any others that we don't, by all means, drop us a comment, because we'd love to hear about it.
There's Tornado Cash, which is the technology I think that Blank is using as well. But I think it's a great topic because, there's differences. There are people maybe who are doing illegal things in the commercial markets with money and fiat and legal tender, or maybe they're moving things around, and who knows what goes on that you have to monitor on that level. But we're talking about a lot of these cryptocurrencies are brand new technologies that haven't even had time to flourish or see if they even work. Many people who are taking a risk in crypto over the last several years were taking a risk in an industry that the media and politics and people working in those fields, men and women working as were bad mouthing and saying wouldn't be around in 2 or 3 years. And now all of a sudden it's around and thriving. And now they're saying, oh, by the way, we want a piece. So I think what you're saying, it's not about, I know everybody wants to make sure that they pay for what they owe and all that. It's more about making sure people protect their wealth from new temporal authorities. If someone comes in, all of a sudden, the new powers that be in some random nation state say, well, hey, what wealth can we extract from the population right now? Ooh, here's an easy target. I think it's more about helping people protect them from that, not supporting their communities and pitching in and being a part.
And to add to what you're saying, we're living in a unique time where we're seeing the nation states printing, I think it was 60% of the total money supply in the last few months or a year or two. So and then the debt levels, whether that's that's federal or at the state level, there's just a massive amount of debt in the system, in the public sector debt system, as far as that side of it goes, corporate debt too, but that's a different story. But regardless, there's a lot of debt, and there's a need to inflate away that debt, right? And we're gonna see that continue. So the desire for new sources of funding I don't think that's gonna go away. I think that's gonna continue to get worse. You got baby boomers retiring, and all the unfunded liabilities associated with the Social Security and the different entitlements and benefits that we've signed up for and we're owed. And then there's the debts from the wars, and then there's all the money and the bonds that have been created to handle the financial crisis. Mm-hmm. So we're living in in monetary terms, it's just kind of historical. And to think that they're not going to come for your digital assets is especially as they grow and appreciate in this market, and the market cap grows in this sector, that this is going to be seen as a honeypot.
How about the Fed purchasing corporate bonds in the open market?
Yeah, they've been doing that for a minute now.
I mean, that's historical. That's been going on just relative. I mean, if we really look at all the new, when we were studying economics at the university, and what they were teaching were the M1, M2, M3, and all the tools at the disposal of an economist or people these weren't at that time considered to be on the table options that for a healthy monetary system that would never be thought of as necessary. So when you say we're living in some historical extraordinary times, we're truly living in some, who knows what's going to, Wild West times of monetary policy. Truly wild. The idea that whoever they are, whoever they claim to be, have things under control is like, well, we wouldn't be doing this if things were under control. Let's just get that clear now.
There wouldn't be all this energy creating alternative monetary paradigms.
And so for me, what I love help being a part of the community is to help explain is like, look, we're all in this together. We're all trying to understand how to use these tools in a way to help each other make the world a better place. But let's not get it twisted. Like, that legal tender that you're printing and you're sending out stimulus checks, but you're also giving billions to as corporate favors or to whatever other institutions, and the major channels, because the major channels of inflation aren't from mailing checks to people. Okay, let's be real. Okay, you can count up all the checks that people are getting. That's not where most of the printing is coming from. That's like the tip of the iceberg.
Right.
So for me, it's really about saying, look, y'all just chill out. We've got this, and be supportive. Let's not try to get in the way of this, because there's a lot of people putting a lot of energy and a lot of risk into finding out which of these ecosystems are going to be successful and thrive. Like I said, the people who've gotten into crypto now and before are people who have gotten in, not into traditional financial markets where you've got an SEC and you've got oversight and committees, and you're talking about a new technology, a new era, and just new people all over the world working to create for communication, just a new form of communication. So that's not in the same realm. It's not the same ballpark. And I can understand why people around the world would choose to find ways to protect whatever they have from that kind of extraction, basically.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Right. And what's this will bring up an interesting point, because one of the unique things about cryptocurrency is that you're able to do things more efficiently. So in what you learn in economics or in markets or political science is that what you have to have a nation state to take resources so that they can decide how to do charities or how to provide welfare. But we literally have, with blockchain technology, we literally have ways of providing all of these mechanisms without all of that market share, without that huge behemoth of jobs and resource, the administrative bureaucratic costs, right? And so really that's what it's about. So we all want to make sure we still take care of people that need to be taken care of, and make sure that we, but right now we're just trying to get rid of the waste, and printing trillions and trillions and trillions isn't going to stop this ship from sinking any faster, you know.
Exactly.
We got through Polygon. We talked about
the Nervos bridge, the Cardano Nervos bridge. That's a huge one. You have that article up?
I do. Next, boom. And it's good because I was actually just scrolling down the market cap. As we scroll down, you can't ignore one of the biggest gainers in the last, and shucks, we could do a day change or month change, but Cardano's been one of the strongest performing crypto assets in the last quarter, and for this year, absolutely throughout the year. And I think a lot of it is, it's definitely gone past the point of hype and moved into the realm of excitement for the Cardano community and how much is being developed and how much they're coming along. So without further ado, Cardano, which is founded by one of the co-creators of the Ethereum network, as Polkadot is as well. But Cardano is now building bridges to other smart contract platforms, to other chains. And we've talked about the Nervos chain before. I know we've talked about CKB. But yeah.
Should we go over a little more for the people who maybe don't know? Because doing so would actually probably be good for me too.
Yeah, well, let's do it. Now, of course, the thing with the Nervos chain is its ability to interoperate. It's supposed to be like the Nervous network, the Nervous system, the Nervos chain. If I remember, and I could be wrong, so it's good for all of us to learn together. But the Nervos network, there we go, bada bing, bada boom.
Yeah, it's a layer 1 blockchain protocol that serves as a public blockchain ecosystem, a collection of protocols.
Yes.
And it also has a layer 2 scaling element as well.
So what's going to be interesting is what this means. We're so early in all this, like all these connections and interoperable bridge. What does this mean? What is going to be built on Cardano or on Nervos? How are they going to access different assets? I guess this would be Nervos giving access to Cardano just as much as Cardano. I think maybe that's what a lot of this may be about, because Nervos may be working to build connections to Ethereum, Cardano, Polkadot, Binance, and so as they're able to create those bridges, anything that they're bridged with, you'll have access to. So, but then again, it also feels like Cardano or the network they bridge to might also have that flexibility. And I think that's what Nervos network does. When they have blockchain assets connect to them, they are a universal application that allows you to work with now those chains. So now Polkadot, Cardano, Ethereum can now seamlessly work together through the public network of Nervos.
And it's all interoperable.
But that's beautiful. That's beautiful. And that, I mean, see, that's why I like to tell people this is still so clunky right now. If you're just now learning about crypto's just now emerging. And like if we're talking about a tree, crypto is a seed that literally just came up out of the ground. Sure, If you would have been someone who got into Bitcoin in 2010 or Ethereum back then, sure, you could have been someone who remembers what it was like when the seed first went in the ground and no one saw something pop up. Sure, that'd have been great. But literally, it's a seed that's popped up out of the ground. It's a sapling. It's not bearing fruit. It's not mature. It's so underdeveloped. And we're literally looking at these solutions and these chains that are building networks for people to be able to use in the future. It's not something that's just turnkey ready. Right.
No, not at all.
I mean, now there are DeFi, amazing DeFi applications that are working now on Ethereum or other networks. Absolutely. But even they are still being built upon and in their infancy. So it's just fun to see. Absolutely. If you're just now learning about crypto, take your time. Don't rush, but know that it's an evolutionary and revolutionary technology. From a monetary perspective, I would think that all economics departments must soon be just giddy over this stuff, because you're talking about a new choice in money and choices.
You would think, but I don't. My hunch is probably not.
Like, it's not just choice in money, it's choice in how you want money to be, because we're literally at a stage where people can program money like Wise Token or other, where you can program the interest rate, you can program it to operate, to inflate the way you wish it to be, and set it and forget it. So you would just think that if you're like at that Milton Friedman, well, we should have a set interest rate.
What was the project that had the money supply rule, where it solved the the monetary equation of exchange problem, the money supply, money demand problem? It changed the supply to match the demand at the moment. I can't remember if you remember the name.
Oh, Ampleforth, or
yes, that's the one.
Ampleforth.
I wasn't a fan so much of the project, but the point you're making about is the idea should be that right there should be in monetary economics discussions in schools, because that's one of the big issues is how do economies how do they achieve monetary equilibrium so that the monetary side of the economy doesn't bleed over and affect the real economy, right? By causing a recession or a boom or a bust or whatever, right? So, but this monetary equilibrium story is all about adjusting the supply of money using the central bank and banking system and policy tools so that it matches the demand, right? Well, if you can do that program, like if you can decentralize that and automate it through a blockchain protocol, that's revolutionary. Hey, Jacob.
Speaking of revolutionary, we got our compadre Jacob Garcia back on. It's good to see you, brother.
Good to see you guys. Sorry about the delay.
No worries. Better late than never. And we tried having your brother from the same cosmic mother, Marty, on here, but he was having audio difficulties. We could hear him, and we could all see each other, but he could not hear us.
Oh man.
So hope next week we can get the whole gang on together, and he had some cool stuff that he wanted to talk about, I know. So I even pulled up some stuff on Doge and Safe Moon. I was ready to let Marty rip it. But I'll go over it maybe a little bit if we got time left at the end, but I want him to, I don't want to steal his thunder. So Marty, if you're there, brother, I'm saving these articles for you, my friend.
So what's up, Jacob? How are you?
I'm good. Sorry I'm a little late. Just a lot of stuff going on in life, you know?
Yeah, good things, man. Beautiful. Like I said, better late than never. Glad you're here, brother. We were talking about, I don't know if you had time to catch up on anything we've been mentioning, but we went through a little market cap overview. Privacy is really hot right now. Pirate Chain's been ripping it. What we didn't talk about was Live Peer Network. The Live Peer Network has had like 100% in the last day today?
Yeah, 170% is what I saw.
170%. But Live Peer Network, if you know what it is, and this is why I wanted to talk about that, because what else do you see up here? Theta and Theta Fuel, right? Theta's been a big gainer. Well, Live Peer, for those of you who want to know what it is, I'll just go to it because that's how we learn. Oops. Live Peer Network is kind of a competitor. It's another blockchain for streaming information. It's a primary online resource. Well, here we go. For streaming, like Theta, for video streaming.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, it's up 52% for today.
Look,
it was up a lot earlier. It was up more, but I guess it comes.
It corrects. They always do, but still, that's a huge gainer. And the point is what is it? It's the world's open video infrastructure. So that's what it's supposed to do. Decentralized video streaming. That's what Live Peer Network is, okay? And built on the Ethereum blockchain. Now,
so it's kind of like how YouTube started off, kind of like this decentralized, just where people post videos, and then it became this like giant thing.
yes, except look, here's the deal. I'm very skeptical. I like to be skeptical. I'm not just like, every project's great. And they may have a solution. But do you know how expensive gas fees are right now? I mean, they may be low, but you know how expensive gas fees are. So what I'm saying is this: unless you're building on Matic or on some layer, I don't understand how you're going to stream videos. Literally, I've learned this from another developer, so I'm literally just repeating what I learned from someone else. But think about this: the network on Ethereum gets clogged with crypto kitties. Okay, right now gas fees go up with DeFi. You can't send something for more than 50 or 100 or a couple $100 now. I mean, sometimes ridiculous more than that. How are we going to be streaming live videos on that network that's going to be more efficient and cost effective? It's not there yet without a layer. So I think like they have all the ideas that they would like to be able to do for like sharing and having your own wallet and making money off of what you share, but the actual practical infrastructure so that you can actually get a video and load it and share it with somebody else, I don't believe that it's anywhere close to happening. And I could be off. Reach out to me from Live Peer and teach me the way and show me. But as I understand, that's not. Now look at Theta Network. Theta Network has had huge success. It's got patents because they came up with their own chain, their own kind of way of doing it. But they literally had to come up with their own chain for a solution, and they don't claim to be super decentralized. Like they have certain requirements to have nodes and servers, and certain people have certain amounts. So it's like they are a blockchain, and they're more decentralized than your AWS. But I as far as I know, and this is what if I'm wrong, I learn from being wrong even more. But that's what I understand so far. Now it's early stage. It could be a great opportunity. We're talking about everything in blockchain's early stage. But I just don't want people to think that, oh, you see this video of people playing music and doing a podcast and think, oh, okay, I'm going to get a MetaMask wallet. I'm going to download Live Peer, and then all of a sudden I'm going to start doing all my streams on the Ethereum network, because I don't think that's legit. However, you can go to Theta TV right now and get on the Theta network and watch streams, start streams. Like Theta is actually functioning, and we're not maximalists. I love Theta. I love Ethereum. I love it all. But for me, it's like when it comes to competition and the market and the products and what's out there, you just got to compare it, right? And, so I'd love.
Do your research for sure.
Yeah, do your research, because who knows what's causing this pump. But that's what it is. It's another data sharing video infrastructure blockchain solution. And I do think it's cool moving to that, where we own our own information, so to speak, where people can receive, like what, pardon me. I meant to do this last time. Have y'all heard me rally on about Audio Chain?
Yeah, we talked about it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Audio Chain, I don't know. I'll have to ask. I'm not sure what network. Oh, of course I know. It's built on the Ethereum network. So they use the Ethereum network for loading NFTs, but I don't believe that with Audio Chain you're streaming music on Ethereum, right? Like there's a different
More of an ownership thing.
right. So we're all kind of, who knows? There's going to be a lot of solutions that are figuring out ways to come up around these efficiency problems and these cost issues. But okay, before I get sidetracked, let's keep on powering through because there has been some other big. Now, are you satisfied, Ryan? Because I think Jake, when you first popped up here, we were just going through and talking about the Cardano Nervos bridge. Have you heard of the Nervos network?
I haven't, no.
It's supposed to be basically a layer one that specializes in connecting all the smart contract platforms. Basically, that's what they aim to do, is connect Cardano, Ethereum, Polkadot, Binance, name it, Harmony One, name the big ones,
Okay.
and they connect them to their Nervos chain, and it allows everyone else from those networks to use the Nervos chain data for interoperability. So, in other words, you take your Cardano and link up to Nervos. Now you've got your Nervos Cardano info that you could use with Nervos Polkadot or Nervos Ethereum. So this could be, who knows, but we're talking about bridges, interoperability, just like Polygon and Matic has seen a success for layer 2 for Ethereum and gas fees. I mean, there may be others out there, but Nervos, I think another one, Aleph, I heard Aleph was something doing the similar, but there's going to be chains out there that are made specifically to connect large smart contract platforms. And there's definitely going to be a huge need for that because there are communities, building up on DeFi, locking up stable coins, and creating tokens, utility of value on different chains. So to be able to create a marketplace where all these people can come together, that'll be huge too. So yeah.
For sure. Yeah, I think that's a cool story. Did you want to talk about that article talking about Bitcoin and Ethereum and how Ethereum might be going to start taking the steam out of Bitcoin?
Where is that article?
I don't know if it's the Crypto News. If you don't have it,
I'm going through all of our secret articles. Here it is. Got it. All of our top secret articles. I just powered through so people can read the headlines and see what's up. But that's all right.
Yeah, I feel like this. I think this is worth talking about because this has been a narrative in the space for a while. Like, is Ethereum going to overtake Bitcoin? And there's signs that the trend is starting to shift in that direction. At least in Ethereum's momentum, in its favor.
And I think that's part of the title of our. I think we put that in the title of our live stream. Actually, I think it has something to do with Bitcoin. What's going on with Bitcoin? The alts supporting the crypto market. Because if y'all remember in the past, everyone's looking to see what's going to happen to Bitcoin to determine what's going to happen to the alts and Ethereum in the alt market. Right? Bitcoin drove everything, and now we're actually seeing Bitcoin taper off and kind of, falter a little bit while alts are pumping and while, Ethereum gains and other smart contract platforms. So it definitely shows that the market is in a different place right now. The ethos, the mentality, the psychology is different. However, I will tell you that for me, it shows me that we're kind of still in a bull market. Right, like Bitcoin's not really, crypto's not really. Things are moving around. Maybe people are moving stuff from Bitcoin to DeFi or from stuff to stuff, but people aren't really like pulling out of crypto in mass amounts so that they can run into treasury bonds.
Yeah. Or CDs at the bank. Yeah.
Or CDs at the bank. I mean, that's not. I haven't been seeing that in my metrics.
No. I think, and in fact, it's the other way is what's happening. I saw an article about how financial advisors are continuing to get more and more inquiries from their clients about crypto and how to get into crypto. That's becoming a bigger part of their what's in demand. So they're having to kind of bone up and catch up and learn how to advise on this, and that's great because they're just not coming to the party, and they're not going to have a competitive edge on that, right? It's the YouTubers and the individuals who've been here for a few years who are going to be able to teach them a thing or two about.
Well, you know, the meek shall inherit the earth, not even YouTubers. I mean, there's a lot of people. We just got on YouTube a few months ago because we were inspired by what Peter and Wise Token were doing with using smart contracts to create basically a monetary policy. I was like, wait, straight up, you're using the Ethereum chain to create a smart contract, decentralized money that set it and forget it. It's, you know, but we've been in crypto for a long time. There's people who've been in crypto a lot longer than us, or who know more about many things. We're all just learning this together. So I think that there are a lot of people that may not have YouTube channels, but are equally just as proficient, or a lot more proficient in explaining the value and knowledgeable of cryptocurrency and blockchain. And really, it's about having a lot of those people come up and out and educate those of our brothers and sisters who happen to be maybe in some position of political power or authority, you know, temporarily. Because, like, the reality is that over the last several years, while you've been working your way up the corporate political ladder, doing very well, being successful and making money and making deals and shaking hands and taking care of kissing babies for photo ops and all that good stuff that you got to do, a whole new technology has been developing that takes a lot of time to understand. Like, literally, it takes hours and hours and days and weeks and months of figuring this stuff out and getting in it and making mistakes like anything else. It's a brand new technology. Like, you can't just say I know airplanes today because I'm in charge of transportation, you know?
Right.
So just because people have positions of authority, like, well, just because you're in charge of money, it doesn't mean you just know crypto. There's like, it's actually not possible for you to know as much as some of the people who have been working on this and building the infrastructure for. And so I think a lot of it is about, we're all in a unique opportunity. A lot of us who are, whether we're talking through crypto or just through our families and friends and meeting at places and building networks, but it's about educating our parents or our uncles or our brothers or our friends who are working in places that are used to being in control and understanding that there are some things that are better left out of control, you know. And this is one of those things, you know. It's like knowledge, you know.
Yep, exactly.
So, all right, no crypto, but we're anti crypto book burning.
Let's talk about El Salvador and legal tender.
Let's do that, because that's kind of big news that's been going all over the crypto space, and
they got a head start.
Yeah.
That, Jacob? Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah, I've been all over that.
Yeah. When I saw it, I thought about Lucas immediately. I thought, okay, well, Lucas is gonna have mixed emotions about this. He's gonna say, good that we're encouraging adoption, but do we want to make it legal tender? Is that the route we want to go?
Well, you know what? You're right. But here's what I would say. It's like, I guess it will bring up the conversation that some property has to coexist on two different realms. Because if you're going to just declare something's legal tender, well, that's fine. But there's a whole marketplace and an ecosystem that's existed without your jurisdiction proclaiming that this is now going to be used. So does your deciding to use something as legal tender all of a sudden mean that you should be able...
But you're in that jurisdiction now? Yeah. I see what you're saying.
Right. Like, does that mean that therefore now every address and every amount and every... So now it becomes this Orwellian... this is the new legal tender, and so now we must have our computer system overlords monitor and make sure that every Bitcoin address is verified in order for it to be legally valid and legally recognized. And so now we're getting into a system, instead of using this technology to help move past some of these issues and to help liberate and for growth, it would actually in many ways become more draconian and create more stifling, more capital controls. It can create capital controls at its worst, at its most nightmarish level.
That's for sure. Yeah.
And that's the thing is like, for me, it doesn't make sense to have a cryptocurrency where you literally can have people in charge, whoever they are, whatever country, whatever level of government, executive, judicial, whatever your cup of tea is in your system. It doesn't make sense. I mean, haven't there been enough Hollywood movies to show people the warning signs on this? Like, to have people shut off your digital wallet and access to the world? Because if people allow for central authority to be in charge of this technology and how people are allowed to use it, you literally can have a system where your whole life, everything is an NFT, your degree, your ID, your money, everything. And if someone chooses your house, your everything, and if you are on the wrong side of the political or the judicial decision, or for any choice, if people are given the power, they can shut your address off, and you literally couldn't go into a store and get a piece of bread. You couldn't go into a motel room and get a room to stay for the night, even if you were a multi-bazillionaire the day before from all the work that you did for everyone. If literally could just be shut off like that, and your digital signature is not recognized. So that system, not a big fan of. No, I don't think that's helpful.
Let's hope that's not the direction things are moving in. Because I agree, that sounds like a nightmare.
But it's important to understand the blockchain technology, because it's not it's like fire. It's not like, I hope people don't use fire to burn, hurt somebody, but people get burnt, touch a stove, the fire's hot, right? But we can also use fire to heat the house. So it's not that fire's bad. It's that fire can be used to cook food. It can be used to heat your home. It can be used to do a lot of great things, but it can also burn your house down. And it can kill you. And that's how I feel about blockchain. This technology, it's not bad. It's not good. It's a beautiful tool that can be used to do many things. It depends upon how we allow and what we choose to do with it. That's my crypto blockchain spiel on that. And I got to say, BitBoy, the largest crypto YouTube channel, he's been around. The guys who work, his ethos is rock solid. He works hard to give people their financial updates and news, but when he gets an opportunity to speak his heart, he's definitely someone who supports using technology for freedom and liberation, and especially with the issues he's had with banks basically shutting him out, which is pretty funny considering the voice he has, right? Like considering the voice he has in his reach, that banks would make it so hard for him to spend his lawfully, legitimately acquired donations and earnings from people all over the world for the work that he does. And when it comes to trying to buy a house or buy a car or buy groceries for his family, the banking system has literally shut him out and made it difficult, near impossible to do certain things, where he's had to find alternatives. Now that is funny because he's one of the greatest voices for this technology, period. And so for him to go through that is funny, because the banks literally are just talk about putting fuel on the fire.
Right, yeah. It's like, well, if I wasn't determined to do this before.
But you're right. Bitcoin to become legal tender in El Salvador, I would say overall for me, it's good news. I like to look at the positive on these things, and we're all learning and growing together. I would say that, look, at least it's being recognized. It's finally being more understood for the value that it has. And hey, you know what? A lot of these countries that had banana republic, trillions being printed, stimulus check, inflation problems, moving to crypto as a legal tender, holy smokes, what that does for confidence in that nation's economy and in their market.
That'll be interesting to see what their GDP and growth looks like in the next few years.
And what it attracts, what kind of growth, exactly, what it attracts over there. It will be interesting.
That right there is a potential PhD dissertation in economics.
Yep.
You know, laying out a model about what you expect the changes to be, and then collecting the data, and then seeing, how close the predictions, held. That'd be interesting.
Now, I want to mention something else while we're here, because people like to think of nation states of these amazing systems and organizations and technology. It's like literally they're men and women that are using fax machines and telephones and emails. Like it's as antiquated as anything. And El Salvador or the US or any other corporate jurisdiction, I mean, at the end of the day, what's funny about this is the president of El Salvador, right, partners with Strike, a digital wallet company. So literally, it's not like you've got this nation state tinkering away at the latest and greatest. It's like literally there's companies that have already developed this stuff and they make it work, and then they're like, oh, okay, yeah, we'll jump on and be one of your customers.
It makes me think about that old story in economics where developing nations leapfrog the telephone lines,
right,
and go straight to cell phones,
right.
And how that explains a little bit of their growth trajectory is that they don't have to. They're not locked into antiquated technologies. Like for us, we repair our telephone grid, and we continue to lay a new line, and we're stuck in that grid and that pattern. But if you're developing, there's no reason to invest in the old infrastructure. You can just go straight to the new.
I thought you might like this. The founder, CEO of Strike, is explaining that the benefits to holding Bitcoin instead of fiat reserves is to protect developing economies from potential shocks.
Yeah. And if you're a Latin American nation, or you're a citizen of a Latin American company, that sentence might have more import for you than it does for us as Westerners in the United States.
But moving forward, I feel maybe a lot of people in the United States might start to understand what that means as the chickens come home to roost over the next year, few, as trillions are getting printed. I don't want to speak too soon. But
we're going to talk about that in a minute, right?
Yep. In fact,
we're going to talk about Trump first. We got to touch on him.
So Trump is back in the news, and
he has to be in the news. That's something he's very concerned with, keeping his name in the news.
Well, a lot of people
are.
But that's what he does. He's a pop culture icon, and he's been a pop culture icon for a long time. So, but it's interesting what he says about cryptocurrency, and he's been out of the political limelight for a little while now, although still active in I guess.
Oh, he is in Republican politics.
Okay, I'm not sure what goes on in either one of them, so I'm.
You're missing out.
Okay, but he's saying that cryptocurrency is a scam, and that's interesting, considering the way fiat currency works. It's like, you talk about the nirvana fallacy, to call crypto a scam and not to address the dollars that everyone's using in their pocket and that he was using when he was signing deals or giving subsidies or printing for certain, spending programs. So to call crypto a scam when it's literally operating on fundamentals that are more transparent for a currency that any fiat currency, any currency I know in banking history, I'm. Now, if he said SafeMoon is a scam or Dogecoin is a scam, not that they are, I'm not saying they are, but if he were to call out a crypto like Ethereum is and say why, then that'd be great. But just to say like airplanes are a scam, just to say the whole thing. Now, why people do that though? People like to be negative because it gives the appearance of understanding, right? If I say something is a scam, then you, if you one of my followers, you listen to me, like he's got a lot of people that listen and follow him, then it's gonna be like, oh, well, not only does he know crypto, but he understands it so well, he knows that it's a scam.
Right.
It's like, so instead of just being like, well, I don't understand much about how it works, and no, it's just a scam. There's never been a time in his life where he's been like, I don't understand this. I need time to learn. I
Right.
I need. It's just, yeah. I don't. It's a scam.
Well, and it's funny because I was trying to find it, but there's a quote that Trump made back when he was running for office before he became president, and he was criticizing Obama, and he was because Obama had a period where there was excessively low rates, and he was saying that the economy was a false economy because the low interest rates that Obama enjoyed were pushing up stock market prices, and it was the Fed is doing it. It's a false market. He says money is essentially free. That's the quote.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's ironic that he would say that the market was false back when Obama was president, and to point to the money system as the source of that falsity. And then after he's president, now he's pointing to crypto as a scam, and he's saying the reason he's against it is because he wants to see the dollar as the global monetary unit, right? He doesn't want to have I guess Bitcoin's seen as competition. So I think that's ironic that the thing that was the thing that he thought was so false before, and now he's so eager to see that as being the standard, and it's just like, well, you can't take him. Nothing he says has any consistency. It's just whatever's popular, whatever is going to be the meme in the moment, he'll say it.
Now, we didn't talk about this. El Salvador declaring Bitcoin as a legal tender. Didn't even think about this because I'm not a legal tax mind. But what is that? What is that?
Capital gains tax.
No capital gains taxes.
I don't understand that. So the dollar is legal tender, and if you earn dollars in the United States through an investment, you pay capital gains taxes. But in El Salvador, if you make an investment using the official legal currency,
well, no, they're saying that Bitcoin, the value of Bitcoin going up, and then you cash out to sell it. There's a capital gains tax.
Yeah.
You don't cash out. You're not going to cash out to sell it. You're not going to exchange it. You're just going to exchange the value of Bitcoin directly for whatever you want, and there's no capital. There's no capital gains.
Oh, okay. So it'd be like if your money became more valuable over a period of time, you don't pay a capital gains tax for
right.
it. You enjoy the deflationary benefit,
which you should. Okay. And now think about this. But by the way, this is a brilliant move by El Salvador and an ethical move, because why should people literally have to pay taxes on something that wasn't done through commercial productive growth? It's literally the value gain of the network effects of more people coming on from a high risk situation. So capital,
there's no commercial agreements.
There's no commercial agreements. Capital gains have no place in crypto, and that just needs to be said more and more. Capital gains and all this junk is making a lot of assumptions that the crypto market is some mature, regulated market that people understand and know. It's like it's a wild west that just literally a month ago you got mainstream media telling people that this is a scam. I got ex-presidents saying the whole crypto market. That's how infantile this market is still. You don't have presidents coming out saying telephones are a scam. You don't have presidents coming out saying airplanes are a scam or the internet's a scam.
Fax machines, they're a scam.
But if you go back to when they were first being made, you had people bad mouthing the technology, saying it's ridiculous and it's not going to fly. So,
right.
but that's really beautiful that you have someone like in El Salvador, people making moves to be more open to this market. I think what's cool about that is we can expect to see other areas of the world that are more harmonious and more amenable to this.
The next part of that statement: no, immediate permanent residence for crypto entrepreneurs.
Wait, where was that?
It's right there where your capital gains tax.
Oh, okay.
Is that?
Oh, immediate permanent residence for crypto entrepreneurs. Well,
does that include me?
Not yet. We got to be entrepreneurs. We're just crypto talkers.
Enthusiasts.
So we have to start a company.
We will. We shall.
We shall. Right.
We shall, and we will. Man, that's really cool though. That for look, at the end of the day, you guys, I love seeing a crypto market. I love seeing a crypto market that's going down right now when you have all this news coming out. Because if you're new to crypto, you're freaking out like, oh no, this is the end of it. It's going down. This is the kind of stuff that people have lived through over and over again. You're hearing PayPal, you're hearing MicroStrategy. In fact, I mean,
gotten to that yet.
let's power. So we know that it's going to El Salvador, and then some people think that it's a scam. Bada bing, bada boom. MicroStrategy to offer 400 million in notes to buy more Bitcoin. So what's going on right now? MicroStrategy buying the dips. That's what Michael Saylor's saying. Let's buy the dips. And the reality is that's what most people are doing right now. If you can right now, you're buying the dip, because we're literally at the beginning of a launch pad of an ecosystem that we're all going to be learning and talking about 5 years from now, 10 years from now, 15 years from now, and seeing, oh, the Nervos network, yeah, it's actually working and bridging. Like 3 years from now, it'll be doing something, because that's how early a lot of these projects are. They're not supposed to be giving you some kind of turnkey product tomorrow.
Right. It's development.
And that's why we look at fundamentals. We're not a channel, when we do make videos, we're not going to say, oh, you're going to get rich on this and hurry up and get in our trading bot channel and we're going to all get rich together. But if you put your heart and your energy and you put your into projects and communities that you feel are going to add value and grow, then I would say from a market perspective, there's nothing in the world that will grow like cryptocurrency market will. Nothing our parents or grandparents, I can't imagine, because you're talking about generational wealth trying to all fit into a brand new thin market, whether it be NFTs for titles for cars, for homes and land, whether it be identification, whether it be interest rates set on currencies, or DeFi applications for borrowing and lending, right? There's so much that
we're trying to decentralize and automate the entire financial system.
And economy, and not just the financial system, but other aspects of the market economy.
Yes. Right.
Identification, different things. We're literally taking out of these bureaucratic, clunky, administrative, highly inefficient. Well, inefficient now compared to legacy institutions, right? So, but we look at the fundamentals, and the fundamentals are strong. Hey, look, if you have the president of El Salvador say that I'm accepting Bitcoin as legal tender, that's bullish news for the cryptocurrency market. I don't care what the price is in the short run right now. That's a buy signal to somebody, And this is not financial advice. You have enough vices. We're not trying to add to your vices. This is just cryptocurrency education,
There's another bullish article, and this one hits close to home. It's out of Texas.
I got it up.
So the governor, who I'm not a huge fan of, but that's a topic for another video. He's going to sign a law, or has signed a law, creating a legal framework for crypto investments in Texas. So it's going to define what crypto is and essentially create a framework for companies to start offering blockchain services. And there's a bunch of mining companies that are moving to Texas to take advantage of our low energy costs.
I've heard of that. Enron, we're famous for Enron and Reliance. I'm just kidding. Yeah. We've got some great energy deals for you guys out here. But no.
We had a big energy event a few months ago when the
freeze, yeah. It got a little too cold, and so electricity was shut down for most of the state, rolling blackouts, and old people and ill people died and suffered. And that's when it got just a little too chilly in Texas. So, but yeah, we have cheap energy other than when it's not too cold. And so you can mine some Bitcoin. I think Elon Musk, wasn't he moving Tesla, or maybe he was moving personally out here, or moving Tesla out here, or something like that.
Yeah, they are.
So,
and Texas also created a gold depository I think one of the only few, or one of the only that exist, and it's for public and private users. So that's kind of cool. They're all about alternative monetary approaches here in Texas. That's one good thing.
Yeah, and one of our a commenter, Alvin, made a comment. Although, where's that? Oh, centralization does have a part in the crypto future, hand in hand with decentralized projects, not fighting us. I agree with that. I mean, we're all we're all in this together. There's and it's really about education and knowledge. And there's a lot of people there that are working in positions of banks or working in positions of agencies, bureaucratic agencies, administrative agencies that once they understand the how it works, then they are in the best position of anyone to put forward policies that will help open the doorway for more people to have access and for more people to be educated. So yeah, absolutely. There's an opportunity for us to work hand in hand with people that are in relative positions.
That way.
Totally. But that's really cool. And you know what? I've heard about Texas being a place for cheap energy, so I'm not surprised. It'll be interesting, you know, how much of that is going to come from solar farms and alternative wind, because I know that Texas is known for having alternative large solar and wind power compared to other grids. However, if you look at the percentage of the energy grid in Texas that is alternative energy, it's still less than like 5%, you know, less than 4%. It's mostly all of the energy is mainly produced by combustible carbon fuel. So still, if it's cheap crypto and there's more mining going on in Texas, it won't be cheap energy for long.
That's true. Oh, that's funny.
We got, so Binance. Hey, Jacob, have you heard about a new forked decentralized exchange on Binance?
No, like a Uniswap fork?
Like an exact 100% copy of a Uniswap fork. Exactly like a Uniswap fork.
Okay.
And a Uniswap fork that's not even named all that creatively, because it sounds a whole lot like Holochain.
Yeah, it does sound like Holochain, but it's more festive. It's Hola Swap. Hola. This is for the El Salvador. Whoa. Hello. Did I just come to something here? Is Binance Chain working to bridge and open the doorway to the Latin community in Central America and South America? I mean, El Salvador literally just declares that they are going to have Bitcoin be their legal tender. And then you have Binance Smart Chain fork Uniswap, and they call it Hola Swap. Hola, like literally Hola. Hola. Hola Swap. I'm just saying. Just saying. That's really neat to see open. There's a huge Spanish-speaking population all over the world. I know because mi mamita was speaking Espanol to me when I was just a little baby. She's not here with us anymore, but that's okay. She was beautiful and still is in my heart. But that's for another story, another video. See, we got another Spanish-speaking supporter. Okay, but yeah, so I don't know. This is kind of interesting. It's going to do two things. One, it's going to see if a Uniswap competitor on another chain, unlike SushiSwap, we've seen competitors on Ethereum, but now we're seeing a fork directly on Binance Smart Chain.
Yes.
And they're marketing.
It's all about fees. It's all about getting these transactions with low fees.
Well, let's think about this. Visa and MasterCard can afford Ethereum transactions, right? But do you think people in El Salvador or in Central America are so if you're going to be real about this, let's be real. Hola Swap is clearly marketed to the Spanish speaking population, and most people will not be able to afford. I mean, not just Spanish speaking. I mean, the way Ethereum's going, anybody. But the Ethereum network is not friendly for the working class, the people around the world. So to see on Binance Smart Chain create Hola Swap as a Uniswap fork, that's that's pretty
cool.
interesting, pretty cool. Now again, I'm all about decentralized and permanent long-term solutions. I know that Binance Smart Chain is still centralized as far as its security and its network goes,
Right.
compared to these other blockchain solutions. But like I said, we're all in these early stages of cars and roads and railroads and being built. So it's not about making the perfect product. It's about making products and perfecting them as they're working.
Right.
That's how I kind of see this market.
And the thing, and I always go back to the idea of trade-offs, right? So you're not going to get low gas fees and quick transactions on a super, well, maybe you will, but it's not, the technology is going to be difficult. It's going to take time to figure it out, right? On a super decentralized format. So there's a bit of a trade-off between efficiency and transaction fees and decentralization. So you want cheap, you want fast, you're going to probably have a little centralization to have to go along with it.
Totally.
But if you're not willing for that to have any centralization, you want to have complete privacy. That's cool. You're going to pay for it.
Right.
But you can do it.
Right.
So it's about finding that mix that speaks to you and what your needs are and what you want.
Yeah.
We've pretty much covered everything that we were going to cover in this stream today. Although I had some stuff pulled up for Marty on Frontier and on SafeMoon. Is it really a safe investment? And on Dogecoin, which we've talked about, but I want to talk about it again with him because he's got some perspectives. Although this is about 28% being owned by one investor. So, as far as I'm concerned, it's just so much of a no-go forever in my mind. It's like there's a Elon Musk makes a quote, which I don't pay too much attention to him, but it's in here, and it says something that if major Dogecoin holders sell most of their coins, then it will get my full support. Now, this is funny coming from someone who makes a living from centralized currency systems giving him huge subsidies, right? Like literally he makes a living coming from currency systems that have a whole control over the system. And they say, hey, Elon, we're going to give you $1 billion for what you're doing. And now he's saying, oh, well, if they'll be ethical and they'll sell their Dogecoin, then I'll support it. It's like, bro, you're an engineer. You send rockets. Like I could, if I was one of his astronauts, I'd be like, I don't know if I'm getting on this one to Mars or the moon anymore. This guy's lost it. Like, are you sure the fuel and the food rations are right? Like, bro, if the large wallet that owns 28% of it, if you just saw it go to like 100 different wallets, would that make you feel better? Because I know there's people who have Bitcoin wallets that break their crypto into different wallets. They do it all the time. Like,
hey, I just learned the reason I want to let you know. I just learned this, and when you learn something, it's exciting. There's a term for what he's doing in this passage. It's called concern trolling. It's when you respond to somebody with some bullshit that pretends that you're concerned about something,
right,
that in reality you're not ever concerned about.
Right.
So here's an example. If you go to a Trump supporter and you talk, this isn't so relevant now, but it might have been more relevant when he was in office. But if you would have said something to him about, like, what about the kids in the cages and the family separation on the border? And then there's a typical response from would be, well, what about all the black people that are caught up in the criminal justice system? Don't you care about them? And it's like, why are you going to respond with that if you never cared about that any other time? Like you guys don't care about criminal justice, nor.
And that's not even the conversation right now. Let's talk about it.
Yeah, but so that's just an example of like of dismissing something for a reason that seems like you're concerned, but in reality, if you look at the background of what this person says, they don't share those concerns.
Well,
so it's a form of trolling. It's almost like gaslighting somebody.
But is it not perfect because he is actually the CEO of the corporation that I think has the most purchases for virtue signaling? Like Tesla. The Tesla car is the epitome for virtue signaling. Like if you have money and you can afford it, then you drive around people that have cars that can't afford it. Like, I can't believe y'all are still polluting and you're not as energy efficient as
Meanwhile, you're driving a car that's only that you only were able to get because of the subsidies, because it's not efficient.
Like the reality is there's nothing about a Tesla car that's green on the environment. Not even the amount of energy that it takes to go from point A to point B. It literally requires so much energy and fuel and subsidies. And to power the battery is being plugged into your house, which unless you hired to have a solar farm built for your car, which is nice to have, congratulations. Unless you have that, yeah, 90+% of the energy grid's coming from coal. So you're really just polluting in somebody else's face in their house on their property next to the coal plant where the property values are lower while you're driving around in a Tesla. So it's really just a way of just, you don't have to breathe in the pollution. You're having someone else breathe in your waste and it sounds green.
That reminds me of this the recycling system. We used to take all the recycling that the United States and the Western world kind of does and did was being sold to China, and they were incinerating it, and they were obviously repurposing some of it, but a lot of it was being sold just incinerated, and they were burning it off, and it was polluting a lot of these neighborhoods that were in poor areas in China. And so eventually it got so bad that these companies stopped buying it. They were like, we don't want to buy your plastic and your crap recycling anymore. So now there's not a demand for this trash to be, and the global recycling movement is starting to come undone. And you're seeing articles about how it doesn't even make sense to recycle. It's actually selfish to recycle because you're exporting you're not really doing anything for the environment. You're just moving
you're dumping it somewhere else
to some poor person's backyard, and then you're feeling good about, I recycled.
But many people don't want to hear that. There's cognitive dissonance because literally some people have driven around for years making people recycle because they felt that's what was going to make the world a better place. And it's like now, if they're finding out that all they were doing was sending plastic to be dumped on the shores of
another country,
that doesn't, and that's okay.
Well, something I want to speak on about the Musk quote. I find it interesting that he doesn't back Dogecoin, but in a previous quote, he talks about how he's working with Dogecoin developers. It's this back and forth. And if you were to just look at the timeline history, it's I'm for this, I'm against this, I'm for this, I'm against this. It's a game.
Almost like he was trying to goose the market for his trades.
Well, I personally won't say any definitive things. I have my own opinions,
Yeah, I mean, I'm not positive, but it could be explained that way.
It could be. Clearly, either it's intentional for trades, or who knows who's writing his script for his company. But it shows a clear lack of knowledge of the crypto market space. Make no mistake, the people who listen to Elon Musk about crypto are people who love Elon Musk, not people who understand crypto. There's a community of people who just love Elon and everything that he's behind. So what he says is kind of like gold. But if you've spent a lot of time in crypto studying blockchain, whether proof of work, proof of stake, and the different nuances, then he doesn't come in and add value to the space. It's not like listening to Andreas Antonopoulos, Richard Hart, Peter Gurr. I mean, you can listen to different people talk about crypto or DeFi or the markets, and BitBoy. I mean, you go down the list of people who are a pleasure to listen to, and you learn from them. He's meme coins and meme Twitters and meme sayings. There's nothing of meat or of substance that comes from his tweets or his quotes. So, but yeah, we hit this up. Bitcoin needs to turn the ship around. We did talk about that. Did we give it enough?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, we can go through it some more or less. That's the idea, is that it's got to get out of the pattern it's in. I think it's getting into a wedge, and if it doesn't break out of it, it's probably got lower lows it's going to discover.
Well, let's talk about the fact that DeFi is being built up on Ethereum network and these smart contract platforms, right? We've been looking at lending and
yep.
However, root stock, which doesn't get a lot of conversation, and I don't know what's going on. There are people developing on top of the Bitcoin network. You know, we could see a time where Bitcoin network is slow, and then where we see an influx of development layered on top of Bitcoin again as a foundation, because Bitcoin securing smart contracts, if it can be transacted efficiently, well, why not? Why not over Cardano because Bitcoin is one of the most secure networks. I mean, when it comes to the chain itself,
For sure.
it's one of I mean, it's one of the most.
I think
it's the most. It's the most secure network.
Secure.
What am I talking about?
Yeah.
Bitcoin's absolutely the most secure network, and one could argue that it's its distribution, the supply of Bitcoin is in many ways the most ethically distributed from how it first started out and was mined, and different miners came onto the scene, and how it's still to this day. I mean, there's no story of someone coming in and being able to print out enough what they need for spending. Like I do know that, like, Ethereum, certain smart contracts. I believe there was like an ICO or an early minting. Do you remember the story of Ethereum, like the early minting of no, it's not on the Ethereum. It would be the smart contracts. It'd be how people can just print money to fund what they want to. I mean, that's why we get into tokenomics. That's why things like Wise are so great, because it's locked liquidity and no one can just run away with it. But with a lot of these projects, you can just have a supply minted at your disposal, and Bitcoin is not like that. Bitcoin, the supply has always been observed and steady, and growing at a set rate from the beginning. So, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I could see a time where Bitcoin is stagnant, right? Where it doesn't grow as fast because there's not as much activity. But I could also see where it comes back with a fury, with a vengeance, because of its strength and its security. If it does have the infrastructure pop up, a lot of people may choose to build and move on there in the future. So,
yes,
yeah,
that's for sure. It's still going to be one of the top projects in the space.
Yep.
No doubt.
Well, yeah, let's. I guess we can wrap this up here pretty soon, because I know we're over time. Although I didn't mean to. We had two more articles that we didn't get. Actually, there's so much news.
This one's cool. I mean, we don't need to go too deep, but we've all heard about the inflation story picking up. You know, it's CPI. The different indexes of showing costs and inflation are growing faster than expectations, leading the Fed to come out, talk about, well, we might have to raise interest rates sometime down the future. And so there's a definitely an awareness that inflation is becoming a bigger problem, bigger threat, and that some sort of taper or reversal of all the money creation is going to have to come down. And this article is talking about how gold and Bitcoin are expected by the author to do good in a taper environment, in a higher interest rate credit squeeze kind of an environment, versus stocks, and because stocks would definitely do bad. So the idea here, I guess, is that gold and Bitcoin would be, or in crypto in general, would be kind of like a safe haven during moments of financial uncertainty, and this would be a shift, because people tend to think of Bitcoin and crypto as very risky. If it's a new investment, it's kind of like it seemed like it's kind of they've coupled with stocks, right? So stocks and Bitcoin and crypto have kind of they've become correlated. They correlated, so they don't move inverse. They kind of move in the same direction. Stocks go up, Bitcoin tends to go up. Stocks go down, Bitcoin tends to go down. But in this situation, you're talking about a stock market going down, not just on a certain day or in a few days in a row, but over a sustained period, maybe weeks or months. And that would be driven by the Fed and them raising interest rates and constricting the supply of credit and money. And so you might say, okay, well, that'd be bad for Bitcoin. That'd be bad for crypto. People would sell, and they would move out, just like they're going to move out of stocks. And I kind of feel like this author is correct that no, Bitcoin is legitimate now. It's matured. It's people are realizing it's more of a safe haven than a risk asset. And so I think it would probably perform like gold.
Which goes to that other article, MicroStrategy buying the dips. I mean, if you
Buying the
look
dips.
at what the institutions are doing, they're looking at this as an opportunity to get out of fiat and into crypto, into blockchain. So, yeah, I feel you, man. This definitely feels like a more mature market. And of course, what is the CEO of Skybridge Capital? We're going to stick to Bitcoin and crypto because we just think there's more upside. And that's pretty much the sentiment you're getting from institutional money, is that there's more upside long term in these investments than there is holding what these people are in charge of. No offense. No offense. I mean, I'm not offended, or they're doing a great job. I mean, look, if someone gives you, the ingredients like cat poop and says make a sandwich, you're gonna do the best beautiful cat poop sandwich, but it's still cat poop, and they're doing the best they can with fiat and legal tender, right? But comparing that to crypto and blockchain, that's a whole nother ballgame. That's a whole nother story.
Yep.
So,
Oh yeah.
well, we got through that. Man, there's so much to cover. I know we're going to start popping out a couple of vids during the week this week. We also covered the Bitcoin, Ethereum. Pardon me. This is what I was going to try to get to before we left, because I know that Jacob sent us an email and wanted to talk about Holochain. And Ryan and I have a little story about Holochain.
Ooh, if you don't mind, I want to hear that story a little first.
Yeah. Well, years ago, Ryan and I went to a function called Voice and Exit, which was bringing together different minds and thinkers and people in different industries. Look, there it is right there, Voice and Exit. And there was a lot of people from blockchain technology and cryptocurrency. There was representatives from Dash that were there. And actually, oh shucks, what was the name? Another guy who's doing some stuff with blockchain and Uber, not Uber, Arcade. That's what it was. Yeah,
Arcade City, I think.
Arcade City. Yeah, not Uber, but a little blockchain driving around, right?
Better than Uber.
Better, and then what you have, pardon, and then what you have, I got distracted. Where was I?
We were talking about the different projects at Voice and Exit, and Holochain was one of them.
Yes, and Holochain is one of them. So when we were there, we had a ball. I'll let you take over, Ryan, but the idea is that we met Arthur Brock, who's like the founder, and he's brilliant, and he's very nice, and he's very approachable, and he was excited because it was like the beginning of Holochain. And I was we were kind of new into crypto at the time myself, learning a lot, and it was too much for me. So I was like, until I understand something, I'm not getting in it. And I just kind of sat on it for a while. And then all of a sudden, a couple years later, boom, Holochain is getting fire and is being talked about. So I want to know from your perspective, what do you think about Holochain? Because we did look into it recently, and it does look pretty freaking awesome with being able to reduce the volume on the network by basically creating your own private chain that you're.
Yep.
Is that right?
Yeah. So there's a lot of very interesting things. I think if you enjoy Wise, you'll enjoy Holochain, simply because the way their tokenomics works, you have their cryptocurrency, which is actually a 1-to-1 ratio to their computation power on their network. So as their network grows and as the network effect happens, that has a direct correlation to their currency's price.
Wow. Okay. That's cool.
So the currency, the supply of the currency is directly related to the computation power?
Yep, absolutely.
Okay, so as the power goes up, it creates more currency.
Yep. But
as the power goes up, the network is stronger, so it's not necessarily inflationary. It's meeting a need.
It's meeting a need. The way they put it is it's not inflationary. They call it a credit, a debit and a credit system. I have it pulled up here somewhere. there's so much information just on this blockchain alone.
I know.
From
When we were
the
talking,
tokenomics.
You know what? Hey,
when we were first hearing about it,
we're kind of 30 minutes over. Look, let's do this, you guys. Let's actually do a video on Holochain.
Let's do that.
Yeah.
Let's just do a video on Holochain and let's pump it out this week.
Okay.
Let's get together this week and let's go through it. And I'll reach out to Arthur maybe and see if I can get in touch with him and see what other info we can get from people in the community. But yeah, let's put together something for Holochain and put it out there later on. Because you're right. Yeah. You're right. This would be a whole topic of conversation.
Yeah. The only thing I just wanted to touch on was just so people at home can understand what Holochain exactly is. But imagine a blockchain where the validation isn't done between just a group of validators, but it's done every single time you interact with somebody. Mm-hmm. You're validating.
Right.
I'm validating you. You're validating me.
Right.
By talking to each other.
Right.
And it works in an ecosystem a lot like how our cells do.
Very organic.
Very organic. And the blockchain actually has the security is it functions a lot like an immune system, because the code is pre-written into the cells how they should behave.
Right.
And so if someone misbehaves, well, I tell the cell next to me, and the cell next to me tells the cell next to them, and all of a sudden everyone around is now blacklisting the one that's not acting right.
Right. Without a main consensus layer, right? It's like it's distributed across every. It's like it isn't as almost as many users as how many different blockchains there are. Isn't that kind of the way to think of it? Like everybody has their own side chain.
Yeah. That's a great way to think of it. Is like a donut, right? You have your inner what happens in your chain, and your outer what happens outside of that. Okay. And so it's really interesting.
It is. Well, we need to talk about this a little deeper, but that's it. When I heard him explaining it, I thought two things. I thought, wow, I don't fully get this, and then I also thought, wow, if what you're saying is all correct, this is going to be revolutionary.
Totally.
Yeah, I really do love Holochain. I just signed up for their dev camp. I'm hoping that I could learn more about it. They actually have a dev camp link that I could send you guys. It's really, really cool.
You know, they were doing that back when we were in Austin for Voice and Exit. They had an event the very next day, I believe.
For developers.
For developers, yes. And we didn't do it. We were thinking about it, but we figured we didn't understand enough about the code and to make it worth our time.
It's super interesting. The interesting part is you could use full stack web development code, and you just have to translate it to work on their blockchain. So it's really just coding in the same languages, but kind of different.
Okay.
It's cool to see how far they've come.
Oh, yeah.
So we'll definitely follow up on this. I'm going to have to wrap it up, you guys, because I know we're a little bit over.
Well,
but it's been
a good evening.
Man, it's been a great evening. We love every time we get to talk crypto, weekly updates. There's so much going on in crypto. I mean, really, we could be doing weekly updates every day. But we will be.
We need to say hi to Devin when we leave. What's up, Devin? Thanks for tuning in.
Devin, what's up, brother? Oh,
what's up?
Man, yeah, we'll have Devin back on. And speaking of Devin, Holochain is not the only one. We want to do a couple video series on Wise Token because really that is another phenomenal crypto community that's developed and done so much to be interoperable and build networks with different communities, different chains. So and with DeFi, what they're doing with DeFi and lending and borrowing. So to get around the gas fees problems, working with Matic, Binance Smart Chain, there's definitely a couple cryptos that we want to put out there, some more educational information. But thank you for stopping by, Devin. It's good to see you, brother. Man, thank you all for participating. Hit that thumbs up, that like button. And if there's a project that we don't know about that you want us to learn about, please drop it in the comment and we will look into it. And if we find something that we can understand, explain, we'll put it out on the live stream and we can all talk about it together. Well, hopefully we'll be able to bring Jacob back out here next time, maybe a little bit earlier, and we'll get through some stuff. But We'll always have plenty of your latest blockchain, economic, crypto information to pour through. Until the next time, I'm going to say namaste and have a beautiful day. But you guys say your pieces.
Well, thanks for tuning in with our Monday night crypto chat. We'll be back next Monday. Probably have a video up soon, so watch out for that. Thank you.
Later.